Hello everyone and welcome to a special episode of Retail Archaeology. What we're looking at here is a Toys R Us store that's in the process of having its liquidation sale. If you've been following the news at all in the last couple of days, I'm sure you've heard that they just recently announced they're going to be closing all of their stores in the UK, and also that most of the financial media news outlets here are reporting that they are going to start liquidating all of their US stores and make that announcement sometime this week. It just hasn't officially been made yet. But depending on when you're watching this, they may have made that announcement. While I was in the store, I noticed a lot of toys that had this only at Toys R Us exclusive badge on them, and I guess having exclusive toys didn't help them, unfortunately. Now, this store has been in the process of having its liquidation sale for a couple of weeks now, and I was actually surprised at how much product is left. This was filmed on a Tuesday evening, March 13th. And like I mentioned, as of March 14th, the announcement was made that all of the United Kingdom stores are closing, and also, like I mentioned, all of the major news outlets here are announcing the impending doom of Toys R Us in the United States as well, which is just really unfortunate. I had plans to capture footage of closing Toys R Us stores, but I didn't expect their demise to happen this quickly. It's really been happening rapidly. I'm also really surprised that it seems like Sears is going to outlive Toys R Us. That's a big shock as well. Another reason I wanted to do another look at Toys R Us was because I'm getting a lot of comments on my last video about things about how kids don't play with toys anymore, and that's why Toys R Us is failing, or that they're overpriced, which I did notice some of their prices are a little high. But that's really not the root cause of the problem, and I wanted to kind of explain to everybody what's really going on with Toys R Us, and it's that back in 2005, I think it was, they were purchased in what's called a leverage buyout, and I'm not going to pretend to understand how all of that works, but long story short is the new company that was created from the buyout started with a very large amount of debt, and at this point they're $5 billion in debt. So they have had a slight dip in sales, but that dip in sales has made it to where they can't service their debt anymore, and that's what's causing their creditors to beat the door down and demand that things be liquidated. If Toys R Us was a healthy company and wasn't so debt laden, a dip in sales like this, or some of the issues they're facing, wouldn't kill Toys R Us. It's the fact that they started off with this ridiculous debt, and they're just not able to weather the storm because of it. And the more I heard in the news the last couple of days, it sounded like, increasingly the demise is going to be really quick, and I felt the urge. I need to go out, and get these last, little bits of footage of Toys R Us before they're gone, because I've even heard that they're not even going to have a liquidation sale. I've heard that when they make the announcement, there's rumors that they're just going to lock all the doors and sell all this stuff off to like huge wholesalers and stuff like that, which would be really sad. It is a possibility that this could be the last time that I, walked through a Toys R Us. What is it with liquidation sales and people leaving their mostly drank drinks around? I've seen this at Sears closings, JCPenney closings, Kmart. There's always random drinks around. It's really sad to think that in a few days we're probably going to be, facing a future with no more Toys R Us. No more Toys R Us kids, no more Jeffrey the Giraffe. And really, this is the last national toy chain, and the closure of Toys R Us is going to have ripple effects all throughout the toy industry. Hasbro and Mattel have both seen their stocks drop since all of these new announcements and leaks have been happening about how bad Toys R Us is doing. Toys R Us provides an amount of shelf space to toy manufacturers that Walmart, Target, and even Amazon really can't offer them. And some experts are predicting, I read today, that as much as 15% of toy sales might just be lost forever with the closure of Toys R Us, because a lot of these toy manufacturers are just not going to be able to fight for the limited shelf space that's available at places like Walmart and Target and things like that. Now here's the video game section, and this is something else I wanted to make sure and capture because this was always my favorite part of Toys R Us when I was a kid. And like I had mentioned in a previous video, the unfortunate part about the video game section is much of the excitement is gone. It's very quiet over here. Here's a shot all the way down the front of the store. I just wanted to take it all in, the signage, the logos, the toys. They had a lot of like vintage toys here too that I was surprised to see, a lot of like strawberry shortcake stuff. I saw a Crossfire board game that said it was exclusively for Target. I don't know if you guys remember Crossfire from when you were a kid, but that was something I always thought was cool. This is really one of the most depressing videos I think I've shot, though, as a closing Toys R Us, just because it's kind of like a part of your childhood dying, really. Childhood's going to be a lot different for kids without a place like Toys R Us. And here's Claire's, the store within the store, although it looks like all the Claire stuff is actually gone and they've just kind of repurposed this to hold other things that they're liquidating. And then a big Hello Kitty section. I'm not sure if this was part of the Claire stuff or not. It's pretty easy to crap on Toys R Us as far as decisions they've made in recent history, but that's not really how I want to remember them. I'd like to choose to remember Toys R Us as the like toy fantasy land that I used to beg to go to as a kid, and the place that released that awesome catalog at Christmas that I would circle stuff in. My kid really likes walking through these archway things. If you've got, fond memories of Toys R Us or kids, I would recommend taking them to Toys R Us very, very soon, because they're going to be gone, and I think we're all going to miss this. I have to admit, I did feel a little bit like a kid again while I was in here looking at all these toys. If you've got any fond memories of Toys R Us, please feel free to share those down in the comments below. I'd love to read those. Let's take one last sad trip through the exit doors of Toys R Us. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Want to see your name here? Head on over to patreon.com/retailarchaeology to find out how you can help support the channel. Hey, thanks for checking out this one final look at Toys R Us. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and also follow at the social media links there, because that's the best way to keep up with what's going on with the channel. And as always, thanks for watching.